Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Eric Paxton. Today is June 20th, 2025. This is Class FTE 217 Week 7 assignment. And in doing so, we're going to go over a few things here. And you can see this is half of the firearm. It's clear, obviously, no upper receiver, no way, no magazine. No way for anything to be put into a chamber and fired because the trigger's over here and the other half's separated from it. There's 4 parts to this assignment. Part 1 has 3 different parts. First is that we're going to analyze when trigger work is necessary or should be performed and when it should not. It should be performed, in my opinion, and this is my opinion only, others may differ, when your trigger is malfunctioning. It's not working right, there's a broken part, broken spring, the hammer's got some issues, or any other of the subcomponent pieces have broken parts or issues with functioning. It should not be performed, in my opinion, when the trigger is functioning as intended. The way it's designed, it is fitting in perfectly with the way that it was designed to work. There are some problems that can occur when improper trigger work is performed, such as, your sear. If your sear is polished, the angle is messed up or something, and it no longer is holding the trigger in place or the hammer in place. So when you go ahead and you bump it and all of a sudden, boom, the hammer falls and sets off the round because you've got a round in the chamber and you've set it down and it bumps and sear just barely holding on, lets it loose. That's one of your problems that can occur. Improper trigger work, like I just described here, can be when you've modified a part to hopefully perform better, and you've done it so far that it no longer functions anymore. It causes issues with the issues of the trigger work performing like it should. If your sear's polished down too far, or you've tweaked a spring and now it doesn't hold the hammer right, or it's too tight, or it's too loose, and it doesn't let the hammer spring forward in the way that it should. Those could be, things that can occur from that. As far as the next part, part 2, we're going to go ahead and give you a detailed inspection of the AR and articulate kind of what we're looking for in some of these things. Like, okay, I'm over here, I'm looking up, and I'm checking, and my trigger it's not firing because it's on safe. Now I'm going to go ahead and let it forward and hold it with my finger, but I'm looking in here at parts, like this little notch here, to make sure that sear is holding on like it should. I'm also looking a little further down. There's another shelf down here that may be hard for you to see, but that's what the sear holds onto. I'm looking to see that is intact. I'm looking to also see that the front edge of the sear that I can see is intact and not broken, cracked, or damaged. Once I've determined that, I can reset my trigger and see that it is holding. And now you see it's on fire, and I bump it. Nothing, it's not firing. I'm going to put it back on safe so it doesn't accidentally fire. And part 3, checking the safety systems, disconnector operation of this firearm, and kind of letting you know what we're looking for. Like I said, on safe, it's not firing. On fire, we'll hold the hammer down so it doesn't slam forward and hit anything. It rides forward like it should. When we reset it, it grabs and holds. When we bump it, it does not accidentally discharge. And we'll go ahead and tell you part 4 here is, what we believe will be the easiest and most difficult parts of making repairs to the platform. Now, some of the easier parts would be like, replacing your bolt carrier group pieces, or, the charging handle, or maybe even a barrel, would be some of the easier parts, in my opinion. Some of the harder parts for me would be, the trigger group, because, like it said in the assignment, a lot, and I do mean a lot, of gunsmiths have started refusing to do trigger work because if something goes wrong, and someone gets hurt or something of that nature, it falls back on the gunsmith for making the part or modifying the part in some way. And if they modify a part thinking it's okay to do it that way and then find out that it's an illegal modification and the customer gets caught with it and they're like, well, where'd you get that done? Well, I got it done at so-and-so over here. This guy did it for me. Now that gunsmith is facing legal problems, legal troubles. So, I mean, you know, there's lots of things that could come from that. And that's why I say that would be one of the most, not only morally difficult, but, you know, also could be physically difficult for the fact that you're so paranoid and nervous about it that you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to make something wrong and get in trouble for it. That's kind of my opinion on that one. You know, that was the basic breakdown of what this class was today. So if you have any questions, you know, this will be posted to my YouTube. You can reach out to me there, ask your questions in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them as quickly as possible. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.